Aadarsh was one of the hoteliers of Pokhara, one of the main tourist destinations of Nepal. He owned a hotel which was well known for its high quality services of accommodation and food for people from Asia, Europe and other parts of the world. Tourists would flood in every year to enjoy the wonders of Pokhara and thus would stay at this hotel. Aadarsh's family was earning good money thanks to the tourists until the coronavirus came to light. Now, all of a sudden everything started to change. The world was in crisis and the country was in strict lockdown. The tourists who had come for having a good time either alone or with their friends and family were left in a bad situation. A situation in which they couldn't return to their home countries as the international flights which would allow them to do so were cancelled and so were domestic flights. People from all over the world like China, Japan, South Korea, the USA, the UK, Germany and many other countries were forced to stay in Pokhara longer than they initially intended to. As their stay was extended from 1 week to some weeks, some of the tourists' pockets started to empty. Aadarsh knew the situation of the tourists, however, and he decided to help them. It was in the name of humanity after all. So Aadarsh continued to offer same services as before to those tourists who were not able to pay hotel bill. Aadarsh arranged for safe environment by sanitizing objects and surfaces, maintaining social distancing. You truly do not know what this means to us, Aadarsh. Kamsahamnida, Cho, an old Korean lady said to Aadarsh with an appreciative expression. Yeah man, merci beaucoup. The people in Nepal are so nice, said Adam, a French journalist. They were thanking Aadarsh in their own languages. Aadarsh smiled. This was way better than anything he could have asked for. He even appeared on the news. What is the reason for such generous behavior towards the stranded tourists in Pokhara, Mr. Aadarsh? The reporter asked. We should not only think from our perspective, but others' perspective as well, you see. We have been living here for many years with tourist money, and helping them in this situation is a way to pay them back, Aadarsh replied. Encouraged by Aadarsh's doing, other hoteliers and people started to do as much as they could to help the tourists. The boaters offered them to sail across Feva and Begnas in individual basis, maintaining social distance without cost. The tourists got to enjoy the beautiful reflection of the low green hills and the garlands of mountains on the twinkling surface water. Similarly, they cycled around the glorious city and the people who owned the cycles let them travel on the cycles without cost. The city was quiet as all the people were inside and the roads were free of vehicles. They breathed the fresh, unpolluted air of the wonderful city. The help of the people of Pokhara was a great relief for the tourists as they stayed in their rooms, extremely bored and missing their homes and families. The tourists, despite the difficulties, enjoyed their stay as much as they could. This experience had made them sort of like a family as they were in a similar situation together, and hard times bring people together. They soon returned to their respective countries while the lockdown was going on by domestic aeroplanes to Kathmandu, and then they were flown to their countries in chartered airplanes sent by their governments. Aadarsh was praised for his humble act. Once Adam reached Paris, then he immediately called Aadarsh. Namaste Aadarsh, I'll be promoting your country's tourist destinations so that more people can experience how beautiful Nepal is and how wonderful the people are, Adam exclaimed through a Facebook video call from the roof of his house, taking the first sip of morning coffee, croissant on the table, with his family. Aadarsh could see the Eiffel Tower in the distant background, and better than that, Adam's happiness after reuniting with his family. I don't have good enough words to appreciate your generosity, Aadarsh replied. When the pandemic is over, then make sure to visit Seoul, Aadarsh. I'll be more than happy to show you my country, the same way you did, Cho said over the phone. That's a great offer, Cho. I don't plan on coming to your country anytime soon, but if I do somehow in the distant future, then I'll surely call you, Aadarsh responded kind-heartedly. Hola, Aadarsh, I reached home safely. Rodrigo rotated his iPhone and walked from one end of his terrace to the other end to show the background of the city he was in, Barcelona. You stay safe, my friend. I will, Rodrigo. Don't worry. You do as well, said Aadarsh. Some other tourists conveyed their thanks to Aadarsh as well. He was overwhelmed by all the tourists' responses. So that's the end of this story, guys. What do you think of this story? Write down in the comment section. But before you do that, I want to tell you the takeaway of this story. The takeaway of this story is that we should not only always think from money perspective, but from humanity perspective as well. So that's the main takeaway of this story. See you next time, guys. Bye.